Hi guys, welcome back to another episode. We're missing one of the musketeers, but we've got this in the middle for a space skip for our third musketeer. But yeah, we've got another episode, which has been a bit of delayed, but I think it's to
Still moving forward.
still moving forward. Yeah, that's the way to think about it, definitely. So this topic is pregnancy. I think having babies since the beginning of time, but still I thought it was a good episode. I think we've both had different experiences of the pregnancy,
And postpartum and delivery, I
yeah,
suppose.
all of them has
Really?
been different perspectives to bring to you guys, and not everyone's going to be the exact same. Some will have certain elements of it, some will have nothing, and some will be much more traumatic. But I think given
Yeah.
this lady here has finally decided to become a GP. So yay!
Thank you. So, and we're both GPs, so we'll have a bit more medical side of things that we can
Yeah.
hopefully clarify, and we
We'll
can't take it out of us. It's part of us now. So
Yeah, but we'll try
Yeah.
not to make it as
boring or
yeah.
too
We
medical.
won't talk shop as much as ideally.
It's more
would be.
personal experiences.
Yes. Yeah. So of course, like you might have questions, you might not agree with some of the things, but I think we'll talk about some mythbusters, how it takes two to tango basically for this. And
And what you can do, and hopefully we'll see where this takes us.
yeah, and have a bit of a chat about our experiences as well. So I have two I have two girls. I have a 7-year-old and a nearly 2-year-old. I can't believe it's even saying 2 years, and it is true what they say, that it takes almost 2 years to go back and feel normal.
It's the hormones. They say 2 years. Yeah.
2 years to go back to normal. Now, is that because you could be breastfeeding? That makes all the difference. But I think this time I've actually sort of taken a little bit of initiative,
But yeah,
to try and go back to what is normal.
good.
So I've worked on it.
Would you say it's
As opposed
easier to do that second time?
It's still hard, but I now realize the importance of it. So therefore you're willing to work for it, and your partner's willing to work for it because he's seen how it's different. Or maybe they're like, oh, I know what to do, sort of thing. So
Yeah, so
they
their
are a little
minds,
bit,
and just like us, I suppose, just
we
like
know what
just
we're
like you.
doing, sort of thing. They're all very different. Every kid is different, but yeah.
Yeah.
And pregnancies are different as well,
Yeah,
isn't
yeah.
it? What you expect in the first just might not be what you get the second.
Yeah, I only have one, so I can't say.
Yeah.
And I only recently found out after they turned 3, they're called children and just kids rather than toddlers. I've been calling my 3-year-old. I know, and I was very sad. I was like, yes, I am a mother of a child rather than a toddler anymore. But yes.
Is it hard to say? Like, you're so used to saying because I'm so used to saying baby sometimes.
Yeah.
And it's hard to go from baby to toddler stage, and then obviously you're used to toddlers, and you're like, oh, you don't really want to.
They do
go
grow
into them.
fast. Right?
Yeah.
What was the thing that they say? The days are long, but the years are short.
Yes, that's very
And
true.
it's true.
It is 100%
Yeah.
true. See, waiting for 7 o'clock for literally to get a second pair of hands with two of them. But yeah, you know what? At the end of the day, you probably are very tired when you go to bed, but your hearts are full.
I think if and when I have another child, I will ask for help more.
Good.
And actually tell my husband what I would like, rather than assuming that he can read his mind. But we're diverging, but
Yes.
that's it. But that's something we'll come back to it.
I think we'll go. I suppose the first thing to then see is, how was your pregnancy, looking back at it?
So so our pregnancy, we knew when we got married, like first 2 years, we wanted it to be just us, and ideally, and then
Sensible, very sensible.
And then we planned our pregnancy, and then we had our baby, thankfully not without too much difficulty. And pregnancy was good. It was hard because it was COVID. I was working in A&E. It was hard work in general. I did an exam while I was pregnant. The first half of the GP exam I did when I was pregnant.
probably was the best time to
It
do
was
it.
probably the best time to do it.
Can you imagine having to do it with
No,
kids?
I mean, my sister did it when she had 2 kids, and I was like, yep, that was definitely harder.
I breezed through the practical.
Yeah.
The theory was brutal.
Yeah, theory. Theory is the one I did before baby.
And I think it's all to do with how much can you have on your plate.
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I think we had thought about it, like financially we were a bit stable, and then I had maternity leave sorted because I was part of training, and we had a baby. But it doesn't have to be like that all the time. But if that was the right thing for us. How was it different? I know you had a different experience.
Yeah, so I was quite quick. Like I went from F1, F2 to teaching fellow job, which whole point was I was going to run away with my husband to Australia or something. But as part of the teaching, I quite quickly knew, I think as soon as I started the job, I knew is medicine for like medical job for me in terms of on-calls in hospitals and the really long hospital years and training and things. And when I fell pregnant, it became a little bit more easier to like the haze lifted almost. And and it wasn't a planned pregnancy. And every time I say this, I have to think of my husband because he always says, stop saying that always. But it is, the point of view here is needed for that.
Yeah, it doesn't mean it's an unwanted pregnancy.
Yeah, of course.
It's a different.
Yeah, so that's what it's more to say that yes, I might say it in that way, but that's only because to give a perspective in
of
that
how
way.
we were.
Yeah, to for my frame of mind, and it took a really long time to go because it wasn't just to do with that. It had a lot to do with how quickly it came after our marriage. I knew him for years, so I don't think that settling thing that you needed with the 2 years, that wasn't really needed, thank goodness. But of course that might be for other people as well who get married quite quickly and then end up being pregnant really fast.
It's quite common in India, I think, within the first year.
Yeah, absolutely.
Everywhere, not just here.
So you might find yourself, you're navigating through, different relationship with in-laws, different relationship with your own partner, but also with the kids as well, and being pregnant and having the hormones going raging as well. So you probably need a lot of partner supporting through it.
In all honesty, I think postpartum still hit me like a ton of bricks, despite how prepared I was.
Yes.
But speaking about preparation, I think that's quite important as well.
In terms of the pregnancy part of it, yes, of course. I think we should first talk about a lot of stuff that the society put on us for our cultural issues as well, in terms of, we've talked about this slightly in previous videos where we talked about how quickly they come right that visheshayo
they have to they'll just
quite quickly they'll ask, isn't it? So probably I think most of the time we struggle a little bit with that question, because if you're not really trying, it doesn't really bother you. You can say quite quickly, you might be annoyed with them, but you can say quite quickly. Yeah. The problem is if there is something going on in the background where you're struggling with, I know PCOS, endometriosis, they're all hot topics just now. A lot of information out there, and we won't go into that part of it. But there are, these are things that shouldn't prevent you from thinking that you will have a child, especially for someone who's probably, wanting it or is ready for it, have done
really
the work on it. And to then be asked that question and not be able to say to someone stranger that you've just met or just know about it is very hard.
It's hard.
So I think you have to think about the times when we have to be a little bit sensitive to these things,
and don't be that person that asks them.
Yeah, we need to stop that cycle at some point.
Nobody needs to know.
Yeah,
yes, if they are pregnant and if they want to share it, they'll let you know.
Yeah,
you don't want to be the person that's asking someone, are you guys trying, are you guys scared, are you pregnant? What if they're struggling, what if they've just had a miscarriage, what if they've had what if they've been struggling for years, or this is unnecessary pain that you'll be causing. Let's break that cycle. Yeah, and we can do that. I think that is something that we can choose to do.
Yeah, and that is something you can consciously work on. Some,
And good news doesn't always have to be pregnancy.
Yeah, there's plenty of other stuff.
Once I think we bought a house, and my husband was telling his parents we have a good news, and I know exactly what was happening.
You
in
see the
there.
eyes flutter a little
and
bit.
then my husband was completely oblivious, and I was like, you know, whatever you say after this is going to not be as good as having a baby anymore.
Yeah, the expectations has been too far too high up.
And the face fell flat, and I was like, oh gosh, I said, you could have done so much better at delivering that.
But yeah, you know what, it still is a step towards that, and that is what, you know, people, but I think sometimes we put so much on having a house and having a kid, and that is like the end goal and the be all. And sometimes, you know what, finding a right partner is just as important.
It's probably more important.
Actually, 100% more important.
Yeah,
and see,
100%.
for people who are finding the right partner, who are waiting for these things, and I cannot stress enough that you are doing the right thing. You, by waiting and finding the right person, that you're doing the right thing.
Yeah.
And if you find yourself in these situations where you're being asked and you're struggling in the background with medical, we did say we wouldn't go into too much about the medical part of it, but look, things have moved on. We know things medically much better. Don't think that as soon as you're given a possible diagnosis of an endometriosis or a PCOS, or you're struggling with fertility at all, do not think of the worst thing. Always manifest. Have a positive attitude, because that is huge.
If you're struggling with it, you know you can always see your GP.
Yeah.
It'll be hard. I know sometimes facing it is the hardest part.
Yeah.
Or accepting. Actually, we've been trying for a while now, and it's not happening. Then we need to actually go and speak to someone about it. We were
I mean, first of all, speak to your partner.
Yeah.
Because it might just be that one person is ready, the other person's not ready.
Yeah.
Have the conversations at home.
It takes two. It's not always a woman's fault.
Absolutely.
And fault is, I use that word, I have to use that very carefully.
I think we have to use it
Yeah.
because that is how everyone else perceives it.
Yeah.
So yes, we don't mean it in that way at all in terms of the medical aspect of it. But I think people blame women quite a lot with regards to this
so much
in our culture.
Yeah, and it is not, an egg alone isn't enough to make a baby.
Yes.
You need the other half as well.
Yeah.
So, and men are equally important in creating life. So we'll have to, and they have to be held responsible as well. And they also need help if they don't know, like smoking and drinking will have an impact on it. And this is not just that month. It usually is like a few months before.
Yeah, absolutely. And so to a lot of, ideas that miscarriages are because the women haven't sat around or not done certain things. It could just be, of course, every environment where the fertilization happens, but more importantly, the egg and the sperm quality as well.
Yeah.
And of course, like you said, smoking and drinking is one of the first things that I tell all men when they come through.
And exercise, you need to exercise. Well, I say that, but like we've all been there. We're not exercising, and exercising during pregnancy. We'll cover it when we go to the Mythbusters, but that's very important, and how we can help with the future of the pregnancy and you as a human being. I am a hypocrite though when I say that, because I think during pregnancy, especially the first time, we're so scared.
Yes, everyone's scared.
What will happen?
You're scared of everything. And then there's so much fear mongering with it as well.
Yes.
So we'll come to Mythbusters actually.
Yeah.
Do you think, the main thing with fertility and the endometriosis and the PCOS, I'll just go back and I'll say is seek help if you need it. It is not the end of or be all. There are much more advances in it, and there are so many options out there as well.
And when we say trying, we mean 2 to 3 times a week
of sex
for 1 year. Yes. Thanks for clarifying. For a week. Not for a week. For a year.
Yeah.
And then we say you're struggling. That's when the GP, the cutoff is for a year. If you've been trying it regularly, trying to have sex, we can say that, I think, for a year, and then we say, okay, we need to investigate.
Unless, of course, you have taken your time and you're at 35. It just needs to be 6 months of trying, at which point you can speak to one of us and we would do the referrals.
One of us meaning GPs. I mean, you can speak to us as well personally, but we'll guide you towards
I have no problem to chat with regards to this. We have to kind of give our disclaimers and, those kind of things in terms of how much we would give as advice and stuff. And often the case, what you would say is go to your GP sort of thing.
Which
I
is
think,
fair.
but I think there is a barrier in terms of in this country where, first of all, people think we only prescribe paracetamol. Paracetamol is really important, but we don't just do that. We do other stuff as well.
In all honesty, I tell them to buy it.
Yes. Yeah, that is a big
Let's
one
save
as
the
well.
NHS as well.
Yes, but also simple thing as, maybe just guidance on, maybe you just need to, there's a barrier for you to go to the GP and what the GP does, because I know lots of people have come and they really struggle. Sometimes they come and ask me questions about like pregnancy. There is a lot of myths, and every time I'm here like, who told you this, or how can you have this in your head?
There's a lot of fear mongering about healthcare.
Yeah, like, and then sometimes for some, even for having kids and better, but a C-section please come to us if you have simple questions of that, or if you feel there is a barrier to it.
That's a very important point. I think, I think we are shying away from C-sections, but they will do it if you need it.
Always for the right reasons.
Always for the right reasons. And a sister and my sister-in-law, they both gave birth here, and they both needed C-sections. First, my sister-in-law, first one was, it was emergency, and they did it because they wanted to do it safely, and the second was planned C-section. So they do it, but they will discuss it with you. But not literally a pro C-section. I think I feel like they're a bit more pro,
which I don't understand, because I can understand it's planned and you have a date in your mind and those kind of things. I just think it needs to be a decision that is best for your child, and we know what is best for children isn't where the baby is supposed to ideally come from, in terms of it should be a normal birth, and we call it that way for a particular reason. But that doesn't mean that C-sections are needed, and we have the advances for it. So this is another.
But if it's needed, and it doesn't mean you failed anything.
Yeah,
it doesn't.
Of course.
It just means that was the best thing for the baby.
Yeah.
Sometimes the baby isn't in the canal the way it's meant to be, and then it's an emergency, and then or if it's a breach, which is basically where a baby turned around, they'll discuss it with you. So don't be scared to have that conversation with the midwife or with your C consultant. Speak to them.
See if you're from Nati Nanangil. If you want to say that, look, is it possible? Like if they say C-sections, ask what the reasonings are. Ask what it is that you need. I know sometimes, here, remember, it is a shared decision making as opposed to, and more we should be applying that in India as well. I personally think, but that is our personal sort of thoughts on that.
I think the more we ask, so more we ask, the more we get to hear from them, and they realize actually, okay,
this is someone who you
and you feel free to ask. They're not going to hold it against you. I would never hold it against anyone if they were asking me questions. I'd be quite patient actually.
And it gives us more. It helps us to make that decision as well. Because we are not giving what our thoughts are. It is a shared decision making for the right reasons. We get to that end point together. So that's exactly what we want. So let's look, this is what's probably the right thing to do, and that could be because of a variety of reasons, and that could be if someone's a bit older, and they have decided to wait it out, which is absolutely normal. And look, we have advances in it could be a medical reason, and we have the advances, so you're fine. Take your time, find the right partner, get there. Or if you feel like there is an issue there, speak to someone about it. I think that's probably early communication between your partner and you.
Yeah.
And then going out and stepping out and seeking help, however support that be. It could be a mom's group, it could be one of, us, or it could be, anyone. If you need to seek help, just seek help.
Fertility-wise, I think you're most fertile in your early 20s, or even younger maybe, but the best time to have a baby is early 20s.
Yeah.
Like that's purely physiological and your body-wise. But I don't think I was going to be ready at early 20s.
I think times have moved on, because I saw that obstetrician recently on a video saying that, as early as that is the ideal time. Life doesn't work that way anymore, in that you're probably going geared up to go Kerala is one of the most educated. So it takes time to get educated.
Yeah, it
You
does
want to
take
do a
time.
master's, you want to do
And
PhDs,
you know
you
what?
want to do
Prioritize
also,
that. That's
yeah.
okay.
And it might be that during that time, and if you are then going to go and find a partner that is your choice, which I'm seeing so many women do. Every interview, people are getting asked about it, and people are saying, "No, I'm taking my stance, and I'm telling my parents what I want."
Yeah.
Fabulous, like
Yeah.
do that yourself. But it gets if you feel like don't feel the pressure at all. Never feel the pressure, because there is advances and there are things to do. There is, you'll get there.
Yeah.
Is what I'm trying to say.
There will always be pressure. But I
Yes.
think it's just finding your voice in it, and being financially independent, financially stable, having, when you feel like you're ready, what you feel, not what I feel. What I feel and what you feel will be different.
So that's the emotional quotient that you're talking about.
Yeah.
Emotional maturity.
Maturity is very important, because you're looking after, you'll be that baby's protector. You'll be the tigress.
I can say I don't think I was emotionally mature enough to have a child. I quickly had to learn the ropes of it and become that. But sometimes I'm learning with my child almost.
Yeah, I think
which is great.
We will always be learning with our
Yeah.
child. This is the first time doing it. I saw a video of something the other day about a mother just telling each other, like, hey, we're doing it together. I'm also doing this for the first time.
Absolutely.
Just so you know, you cry if you're upset. Just so, like, I might struggle as well. I might cry as well,
Yeah.
which I have done multiple times.
Yes.
But it helps.
In front of your child and without your child.
Yes. But it helps, and we get through it. We'll get through it.
So you were talking about what is the right time? I don't think there is a right time.
Is there a right time?
I don't think there is a right time. Every time someone asks me about a second baby or a first baby or is there a right time, and I'm like, I don't think there's a right time. There's no age gaps that's perfect. You're either frazzled all the time, or you just get your life back, in my case, and then go, oh, we have to go through it again, sort of thing. And so I don't think there's ever a right time in terms of siblings and those kind of things. It's just what you know, and maybe what is slightly different. Maybe like between your siblings, there's a certain gap. There was 6 years between me and my brother. And then obviously, I was like, oh, absolutely not. That's not happening, sort of thing.
Yeah.
So I don't think there's a right time as such.
And it's the right time for you both. Your partner and you,
so
and there's a right time. I'm a religious person, so to God as well.
Yes.
So whenever it happens. Sometimes some people struggle with pregnancy the first time, some people struggle with fertility the second time.
Yes.
And it's, it's all part of the process.
Yes.
And whatever it is, we will face it.
Yeah. And that, having the mindset to do that as well. I don't think there is, but it can be planned, as you said, into certain things about, and definitely I would suggest doing it in that way too, maybe because I'm on the other side of the coin, sort of thing. I just dealt with as things came on, but like simple things like financially being stable, having in the right job. I want to say, rather than career itself, like maybe you're in the job that will provide you with some maternity leave, having some time off, or having parents that is available to you close to that
village.
point.
Unfortunately, the village that was promised to us doesn't exist.
No.
So we have to create our own village. Not for everyone. Some people have the village, which is great for them. Some people don't find the village as supportive as you deserve. So we find our own village. We no matter how much support we get, you might still struggle, and that is okay.
I think it is a journey that is a growth that you will see over time. Yeah. At the time, probably not, but over time, you'll see that growth.
I feel like a bit more settled now.
Yeah.
Looking back, I feel like I can take it as it comes. Some days I can't.
Better,
but that's me growing.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I think as time, you might not be ready at 26, but you will be ready. Yeah. And that can be with a kid or without a kid. You'll grow. Yeah. So Mythbusters for pregnancies. What's your favorite one?
There's some serious ones, and there is some
funny ones.
Funny ones. Serious one is over 35. If the mum's over 35, the child will have Down syndrome or other difficulties. I suppose, differently abled. If I think that's the right way for the word you use.
So what do you think? Like, my understanding is that obviously as you age, there is a higher probability of certain things,
it's
like
all risk.
Down syndrome, but autism is just there is an element of hereditary in it. But certainly, what we're finding more and more is that we are getting better at finding a child who has early like needs, like
And we
disability.
can actually work with
Them earlier, and
Yeah.
that's what you're finding more.
Yeah.
I don't think the increase in autism is
No.
happening because the age is there to a certain degree, but I
there
don't.
will be like the quality will change
Yeah.
how when you were early 20s and now, but my parents had me, and this is for both, not just the egg. I think men can have babies to the end,
Yeah.
but the quality of the sperm changes
Yeah.
as they age as well, and with the amount of injury has to with smoking and alcohol, etc.,
Of course,
etc. But my parents had me when 39, or my mum was 39 and Papa was maybe 40, I think, or plus 40 plus. But it just shows that I am a bit crazy, but I'm okay. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But they say if you get pregnant, first time pregnancy after 35, there's an increased probability of it, but it's not a certain thing.
Yeah.
It's not like 100% it will happen. So don't hurt yourself by thinking like that all the time.
Yeah.
So just know there's people out there that you can speak to, and you
Yeah.
can actually get more advice, and it's individual basis.
Yes. And
That's one.
I think that's definitely something to say. Look, you have to think about everything, but that is not like a typical. It's not if you're aging, you have it sort of thing. You're going to have a kid with a disability. For me, I think. So you wanted to say a funny one?
A funny one. I remember in movies. Not movie, I think it's like Malayalam serials, like soap opera, someone finds out they're pregnant and then they sneakily give them papaya, like there's different words, names for it, and then suddenly they lose the baby, which is a really sad situation. That's not what I'm making fun of. But papaya doesn't always cause miscarriages. I think it has some hormones that can cause it, but I think it's raw papaya.
I just recently, which is odd, maybe we were doing research for it and it's popped up on Instagram, that Instagram algorithm, honestly. So it's more to do with the raw, and if it's well cooked, it's fine.
Yeah.
So
it's some enzyme in it, I think.
Yeah, but I'd like nati papaya. I'm like papaya thoran enike bhayangara ishta. But they were like no, that's bad for you, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Pineapple apparently as well.
Pineapple, I think it's okay towards the end of the pregnancy, but it's still the hormones, they say. I think that if you're okay with me speaking about medical stuff, sorry if it's gross, but I think it softens the cervix.
Yeah.
Just so it helps. Actually, if you're trying to give birth, I think papaya is meant to be really good.
Anyway, see if you like it and you want to cook it really well and eat it, just take it. But yeah, that is probably a funny one.
Yes.
Exercise for me. So if it's whatever form of exercise that you were doing before.
Yeah.
So if you were a marathon runner, you can apparently go back into marathon running.
Weightlifting as well. You can do it while you're pregnant. Oh, Olympics.
Yeah.
I think there was quite a few women.
True.
Yeah, I loved it.
That was a big thing where, absolutely. The 7-month-old who fenced.
Clearly, I'm not a fencer. I think there was someone, this was a while ago now, I've lost it. But there was someone else that was very impressive. And I remember thinking, that's a badass.
The fence, it was so many stigmas that she, kind of clashed at the one go because she was Arabic, Egyptian.
Egyptian, yeah. The
Women.
fencing, yeah.
And pregnant, amazing.
To be honest with you, like I was in an A&E when I was pregnant, and I was like
pretty much fencing.
But like you can do it.
Yeah,
you can do it. I think mums and dads, but mums, especially when you're growing a baby, you feel super powerful. It's probably the second trimester mainly. Yeah, the third trimester I felt a bit more weak. And the
I was holding walls when I walked.
But you feel like such a warrior, and I think I have to continue to being a warrior. And postpartum, someone described it as you're like the protector. You're like the tigress, if that's the right word, like tiger mum. You will protect your cub, and I feel like I've changed so much.
Fabulous,
pre-pregnancy, and
I mean that's the whole thing about it, isn't it? You just evolve and become this
less of a people pleaser, more of a
become this goddess.
Assertive. Thank you. Oh, did you just call me a goddess?
Yes,
I'll take it. Thank you.
So I think, and then obviously the other one is caffeine. You can have 1 coffee a day.
Make sure chocolates have caffeine in it as well.
Tea has caffeine.
Tea has it as well. They are.
Apparently, the same amount, if you look, as tea has much more, but it depends on the type of tea.
Tea.
But
Green tea
we're
has a lot of
digressing.
caffeine, I
We're
think.
digressing, but yeah.
Yeah, clearly we love
So,
caffeine.
I mean, coffee with no filter. So yeah, we can talk about teas, coffees, and hot chocolates with caffeine. I mean, we literally live on caffeine.
I
So
know.
mums,
But
it
drink more water, you guys.
Yes.
That's it.
My brother-in-law said, for every coffee you drink, you need to be drinking 1 liter of water.
1 liter. I had 4 coffees yesterday. But I do drink like 3.4
Don't drink
liters.
yourself. But yeah.
Maybe not.
But it means that I have then maybe changed my thinking a little bit and reduced the amount of caffeine.
I did. Oh,
Maybe
during
that's what it was.
pregnancy, I did.
Yeah.
I think once first trimester, I couldn't tolerate caffeine, which was
Yeah.
so sad. Really, really sad because it was causing me to have severe nausea. And then second trimester, I had a coffee and I was buzzing. I was running through A&E, doing so much. And I was like,
But that is
This is
that
great.
amazing feeling that you get into, like, you can, get, like, you really, in second trimester, you have a lot of energy for it.
dude,
So.
I loved my second trimester. I loved. Third trimester, I walked a lot. I did gardening. I nested. There was
And you
something
said gardening helped the induction.
yes.
Not quite so much on how you were thinking about it, but
No.
you were clearly doing it to try and help with it.
I don't think I did that on
Okay,
purpose. I think
but-
my sister-in-law's birthday, 30th birthday, we were going to celebrate, and I was 38 weeks or 39 weeks, and we were decorating, and the garden looked awful. So I was like, okay, we need to. I usually don't care, but it must be part of the nesting
Yeah, it's a
feeling.
part of the
And I was like,
nesting.
and I was doing a lot, and I remember my husband just looking at me, just a bit crazy. I was like, what is she doing? What is wrong? And I was like, I can do it. I can do it.
Yeah.
And then a few days later, I was like,
That was done.
I was ready to pop.
Would you say as partner support there is amazing, like, because I think we become not having the same amount of level of dealing with bullshit. So
Yeah.
I think just knowing that our threshold has massively decreased, and therefore
We're
yes.
grumpy.
Yep. And bitches.
Often, all
Yep.
the time.
Yeah.
Not all the time, but just be a bit kind to us.
Yeah.
But sometimes you don't know what we're thinking. So us women, we have a responsibility to tell them.
So I had a big long list in my head which I never said out loud. So nothing got bought. I think we were just in a love different la la land. I mean, like, we were too young for this. I mean, I can't blame on him. He's 5 years older than me, so he should have known better.
Well, you didn't know any of that.
But I definitely didn't give him any more of the list in my head. So sometimes when have a list in your head for things to buy, those kind of things, and therefore, maybe to somehow get it out of the head. Give lots of massages while getting it out. Because, but
And
yeah.
also, like, when we tell you we need to buy something, like, just
Do it.
Just do it.
Do it.
But if it's like unreasonable, feel free to challenge us, but in a gentle manner. We don't need 300 of the same kind of clothes.
Yes.
But we're like, just work with us.
But perils of wisdom, wash your newborn clothes
Yes.
early enough with as gentle as
Yeah,
stuff as
non-bio.
possible.
I was a bit too crazy. I had packets ready because I didn't know what size my baby would be, and I was like 0 to 3, 0 months, 0 to 3 months, newborn, and I was like, it was all packed. Danny was.
She has a little bit of an OCD.
I do. Well, not all the time. I just had it at that point.
Yeah.
I do not have
Good.
it anymore.
Okay, that's
I wish I had. My house would be a lot cleaner. But also just assuming, just asking sometimes, hey, you look a bit stressed out.
Is there anything I can help?
Is there anything I can help
Is there
with?
stuff to do?
Your mind looks busy.
Yes.
That's okay to ask
Yeah.
sometimes.
And so let's, anything that you think that was the best thing that you bought as part of your pregnancy going into postpartum?
For pregnancy, pregnancy ball was the best.
Okay.
I think that was really useful for me.
Definitely it helps the back, so get on
Yeah.
it early enough to do and know the movements that you can do actually
Yes.
when you're in
Yeah.
pain.
And it's actually
That's
quite
actually quite good.
it's quite comfortable once you get used to it.
Yeah. But don't do it on the first, like, what I'm trying to say is when you're induced and then you're on the ball, you're like, that kind of thing.
exactly. Yeah.
Get on it early, apparently is what they say. So
Just sit on it. And all I did was like draw 8 on it while I was sitting on it.
Yeah.
And I felt, I was worried that I wasn't doing enough of it, but
Yeah.
we were fine.
I took my pillow.
Oh, pregnancy pillow. Oh my gosh, that's a brilliant one. Actually, you know what? That's a better one.
Yeah. No.
Pregnancy pillow is a win.
Okay, fine. because maybe in NHS pillows is
Oh,
quite
no. For pregnancy itself.
Yeah, you're talking about the one that goes across.
Yeah, like with the big bra.
I still have mine.
Really? Oh, great. I don't know where mine is. I think a few people were pregnant after I was pregnant.
So fair enough.
I
Yeah.
think I may have given it. But pregnancy-wise, that's a good shout.
Anything else postpartum-wise?
Oh, postpartum, my favourite is still baby carrier. I used it
For me, baby carrier was great for my first one. She came into it a bit later. Well, my second one, I want to say it would be next to me.
All right.
And I had nesting inside. So what was it called? Sleepyhead is what it used to be called before. Apparently they've changed the name on it. Docket. It has its own. Please do your research. There are some saying that there isn't enough airflow. Therefore, there are ones that has the net underneath, and the name's gone out of my head. But that one is apparently pure flow. That is okay to have the kids sleeping at nighttime. But Docket apparently isn't. So,
dads, if you're preparing for postpartum time, having a snack bar.
Ooh.
Brilliant. If you want goodie points, have snack bar that's filled up with things that your wife likes, and also that can increase your breast milk if your wife is planning to breastfeed. Also, ask the wife before she goes into labor, ideally, about delivery. About was like, what do you want? What do you want me to be your advocate? Do you want medication? This is her decision.
Try not to sleep.
It's her decision. Tell her to sleep when she can, and be on guard. That snack bar filled up. You can be in charge of that. Offer to do some nappies, and just do it. Sometimes don't wait for her to ask for you. Absolutely. I'm giving you gold. You know what?
See if someone told me this. Yeah. You put hashtag coffee with no filter on that, please. Honestly, but brilliant stuff. Yeah. The only other thing I'll add to that is water bottles. I was horrible at drinking, and the more you drink, the more milk you produce.
Yes, so, and I remember my mum telling me, someone told her when she was younger, if you drink water, you make water, which is pee, I think. If you drink milk, you make milk. That is not true. Hydration is better. So you can drink milk and you can drink water.
And the milk cookies are amazing. Just type into, I think it's Etsy that I bought it from. So it was just at that time. Yeah.
Fenugreek helps some. Fenugreek doesn't help all, which is uluva.
Uluva kanji was...
I didn't try uluva kanji, but my cookies had uluva in it.
Maybe it was my mother-in-law's.
Whatever works.
Yeah.
And support. You are her support. This is a partner. You are her
Draw
advocate.
the line with you two.
You two. This will always be your immediate family is you, your wife, and your kid. That is not as an insult to anyone else. Boundaries in a healthy way. That means happy mum is a healthy mum. Healthy mum is the healthiest person for your baby.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, gold. Oh my goodness.
This is it. This is the caffeine that's working through.
Yeah, that's true. So, oh gosh. So fear mongering. Anything that you would say at this time, delivery time. Let's talk about delivery. I had someone who from India obviously had the baby in India, come to me. I'm so scared of having another baby because I'm worried that they won't induce.
Doesn't have to be induced all the time. If the baby needs to cook in the tummy. But if it's over over due date, they will induce. If you're worried about induction, there is so much that you can do to help yourself. So I had Majul dates from, it's just a type of dates, 8 a day or something, from 36 weeks, I think.
Anything beyond 37 weeks is normal.
Yeah, it's normal.
So don't think about...
You don't need to be induced. The body is not ready yet.
My brother told me to try and keep it until 42 weeks because apparently Einstein was late. I was like, dude,
oh my God.
No uterus, no opinion.
Hey, that's fair. You know what? And also, if it's not your uterus, you don't get to say, you don't get to say anything.
But yes.
Or your husband can have a conversation.
Yes.
In a gentle manner. If it was me, I would be very gentle.
But yeah, genuine things about delivery that you would maybe have a bullet point, like you just came out with gold there.
Medjool did help me. Exercises helped me. The exercise will help. But this is for induction point of view.
Yeah.
Pineapples help. For a spicy food help. I think sex helps apparently.
I just wanted to say, look, you and your doctors will know whether you need to. And in here is midwives, and they are quite good.
Yeah.
They are quite rough. Like they're special kind of stuff. Like honestly, you would think they're the worst thing. People trying to like push that uterus down, but you need that.
Yeah.
But so after, you have a lovely relationship with the midwives. But I'm sure when you leave, you will be glad that they are the way they are.
Yeah.
So
also, knowledge is key. Educate yourself before you and
you know what's coming. But yeah, you say.
Learn. This is not what I'm going to say, but you can say this. Knowledge is key. Educate yourself. With you, I attended a course with my husband because I knew he didn't know, because he's not a medic. I'm a medic, and I knew too much, but too scary things. I was like, we attended a course.
Sometimes you need that.
You need it. You need a balance of it, and know the types of birth you can give. Know what is your right. So if your healthcare providers offering something that you don't want, then have a chat with them saying, hey, I don't want that. Can you tell me why?
And maybe write down, because they have, say, birthing plan.
Yeah.
You can write stuff on that, but say that my birthing plan is flexible.
Yeah.
As long as your partner knows that, look, if I'm not happy with this, I can have this one.
Yeah.
Well, I took mine to a class, but all 4 words he took from the class. Epidural, can push, morphine, sleepy baby. So every time I cried, every time I said, can I have this? Oh, epidural. I want an epidural. No, you won't be able to push. I said, morphine. No, you won't be. So, yeah, he's not a medic, but those were the 4 words. So I didn't get nothing for both my pregnancies.
Oh.
But I would suggest, if you want it, just say that, I will change, or I might say this now, make decisions. And whenever you feel you can't make decisions,
communicate.
just say that. Yeah.
I was okay with the epidural. I think morphine, I was also worried about sleepyhead. And I told Jeff this. And by the time, I kept saying, okay, from my labor was very short, thankfully. But by the time I wanted the epidural, it was too late.
Yeah.
I went from 3 centimeters to 9 centimeters, and it was everything happened. So I was a bit sad I didn't get the epidural, but we forget the pain. Nature has an amazing way of doing that.
But at that time, you're like, oh, don't come near me.
Yeah. I think that's nature's way of making sure you don't get pregnant too soon.
But I have people around me who have 6, 7 kids, and who have so many kids. So I'm encouraging everyone, do what you feel like is right
for you.
Yes, absolutely.
Having I can't say this enough. Having a healthy mum is the predictor for a healthy baby. That's the best thing you can do.
Yeah.
That is the best thing. And a healthy father, postpartum mood is very important, and that's for both parents. And we can work with that, and we can work with that to see how we can promote it. That we'll go into a bit more detail the next time.
I think postpartum will definitely do it next time.
Yeah.
But
it deserves that time.
Just an indicator that, I both were induction, both I had family around me. I had lots of family around me, and I remember getting the health visitor come in at 6 weeks and something along those lines, and you have what we call an Edinburgh scale of depression, so that we use, and I was ticking the boxes to make sure my number was high enough, in terms of
problem with knowing too much, isn't it?
Yes. So I knew that I was actually probably feeling a bit low, and very anxious, but I did the right thing to get, and not a lot of people I didn't tell anyone. To be honest, to a point, I don't think I realized I had anxiety or depression in any form. Second time round, I knew, and it was worse, but I knew what I was going through, and I just spoke.
Yeah.
I wrote notes to my husband or whatever.
Oh.
And the writing helped. Maybe he read it and I'm like, I think it's the writing helped. Maybe that's the journaling part of it.
I struggle as well. I realized I fixated on the feeding.
Yeah.
A lot, and I was really harsh on myself.
Talk about that, actually.
We will talk about it. And also, but I was honest on the Edinburgh scale, and it helped. It helped. It was a wonderful health visitor as well. I think it really helps.
And we have that support here, which we don't, because we have parents and we have all of those things. But sometimes you just want your parents to be your parents without the medical aspect to be, or even your in-laws and, you know, those kind of things. But boundaries.
We don't want to be we are very anxious. So sometimes we find it hard. They expect us to be a super mom or we think they think.
Yeah.
They might not think this.
Exactly, yeah.
We think they think because we've just given birth, we know everything.
Yeah. And we don't. It just comes with time.
And it's not a flaw.
Yeah.
On that note.
Yeah, I think we've done a lot, actually.
I hope we haven't bored you guys, but this is a lot of stuff.
And it might be triggering for actually some of you guys. So if you feel you need to stop, go back to it when you're feeling better.
Yeah.
Or if you feel like you need to speak to, okay, look, we never processed through our pregnancy and our postpartum stuff, which might even hit very close. I think we're both going to struggle a little bit talking about the postpartum stuff. But now we have processed it a little bit that we can talk. That doesn't mean it was hard.
I think I'm glad we are, though. I wanted this.
Yeah.
I wanted someone to be there. I wanted to listen to a podcast. This is why I messaged in the group saying, hey, is there any postpartum stuff for Malayali mums? We're the hybrids. And because it's so confusing for us, because we are
This is why we did it.
This is why we did it.
Yeah.
And I hope it helps you guys too. And I hope us speaking about what we went through and how we coped with it can help you guys. And you can ask us questions. We'll open the comments. I think that was an issue in the past on YouTube. So we'll try and work on it.
That was something that was highlighted to us. We don't know why. We're just getting there. We'll try.
We were not trying to shut anyone up
or not wanting to hear anything. We just didn't realize it wasn't
things.
happening.
We're very chatty. But we'll talk about it.
Yeah, I think that would be us.
Yes.
We'll hope our musketeers back soon.
We'll wait for you. That was not a threat.
No, we're missing you.
We will find you.
So I love her point of view, because there are sometimes I think there's no way anyone can change my mind. And she says something, I'm like,
that's so true.
Yeah. So we need that balance. But yeah, it means that if there is two of us, this will still.
And that's it. And that's the whole point of having three of
us. Yeah, because everyone has busy schedules. So
we're three mums with careers and one or more children and we're daughters and daughter-in-laws and everything else at the same time. So we will find a way. Yeah.
Okay, bye. See you next time. If you have anything, it'll probably be the Instagram will be the most, but we'll open up the YouTube comments as well. Okay, see you later. Bye-bye.
Bye.